gasoline I smell?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you all are doing amazing as always, and it's me, Joe, as always. And today, guys, finally, Scream 6 is here, and I just came back from seeing the movie, and I got a lot of thoughts about this movie. And before we get into it, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for doing that. You know, it helps me a lot, so thank you. And Scream 6. This movie is absolutely crazy, okay? That's what I want to say. That's how I want to open this review. This movie is absolutely crazy. Also, this is a spoiler-free review, okay? So I won't be talking about any spoilers here. This is a spoiler-free review, so I won't be talking about spoilers, okay? So you can go ahead and watch this video. I won't be talking spoilers, okay? So that's important to say. Now, my thoughts about this movie. I feel conflicted, okay? In many ways. But I want to start with the things that I actually liked about this movie. And first thing is the kills. The kills in this movie are absolutely amazing, okay? It's absolutely just amazing to watch these scenes, okay? They are brutal, really graphic. How Jenna Ortega, I believe, said in one interview that this is like the most bloody Scream sequel yet. Yeah, it is. Like, this movie is really bloody, really gory, and just really brutal overall. Like, Ghostface in this movie is just really brutal, and he really kills just everyone, you know? He's really brutal, and the kills are really great. And in a way that they are essentially more creative, you know, because in Scream 5, at least I had the issue that in Scream 5, Ghostface was just mainly using his knife, which, yeah, his knife, and, you know, him using knife, that's pretty iconic, right? But you sometimes want Ghostface to just do something else, and here he does. And he uses sometimes, you know, environment to his advantage, which is awesome. And yeah, I won't go into detail about this, but I really enjoy some of the kills here, which aren't like regular knife kills. They are like really, really great, really well made, and I just really enjoy them. So, also, this movie is, you know, a lot more intense than Scream 5 was, just because of the not just because of the environment necessarily, but just overall this movie is like intense, you know? The runtime of this movie is like, I think, a little over 2 hours, I think, but you don't feel it, okay? You don't, because this movie is so intense and so filled with like amazingness that you just don't feel that it's like the longest Scream sequel, you know? So yeah, this movie is pretty intense, and it's also more interesting, and it has better pacing. The pacing of this movie is so much better, in my opinion, than Scream 5's pacing, because the pacing in Scream 5 was just too fast and too all over the place. This movie actually, you know, it takes its time to essentially establish itself, and you know, it works just much better than Scream 5. So this was definitely fixed from Scream 5. You guys know that that was one of my biggest problems with Scream 5, was the pacing of the movie, and that's essentially fixed in Scream 6. So that's absolutely awesome. And you know, Chad, Mindy, Tara, Sam, everybody is like really good in this one, okay? Because you get a lot of scenes that make these characters like more interesting, you know, scenes that are, you know, developing these characters, you know, and you really start to care about them throughout the movie, you know. You're like, I don't want this character to die because I like this character a lot. And that's something, again, that's been missing from Scream 5, especially, where in Scream 5, not many great character building scenes. In this one, in Scream 6, it is like so much better. You get a lot of one-to-one scene where the characters are just like talking to one another, and they really try to develop all these characters, and it works really well. And so you really care about all of these characters, okay? It's not like, oh, I just want this character to just die. No, you really care about them, and that is absolutely awesome, and it works really well. So another thing is that, yeah, all the characters, both old and new, are likable. Yeah, that's true. Even the new characters, really likable. Really enjoyed them. They are great. Atmosphere is top notch. The atmosphere of this movie is, I'd say, much darker. Like, the tone of this movie overall is much darker than, for example, Scream 5, because Scream 5 and its atmosphere was sort of light and not really dark. But with this movie, obviously it takes place in New York City, so it's like darker, more grittier, and whatnot. But the atmosphere is just so much better. It's darker, it's more grittier, it's just like more menacing overall. Like, the atmosphere in this movie is really, really great. And amazing brutal scenes. Again, the most graphic Scream movie yet. Yes. Scream 5, mostly knife kills. Here the variety is much better and much more interesting. Yeah, again, Ghostface uses this, environment that's around him to kill people in a certain ways. Works really well. He's not just using his knife. And yeah, it's brutal, it's amazing, and I love those scenes in Scream 6. Now, the thing where I feel conflicted, is that the story is just a bit weird. Now, let me explain. Mainly the ending of this movie, and mainly the killers, or the killer. And again, this review is spoiler free, so I won't talk about who are the killers or the killer. But I was sort of shocked who the killer or killers are, and not exactly in a good way. Now, it's definitely better than in Scream 5, because in Scream 5 I sort of like immediately knew who the killers were. Like, immediately I was like, yeah, it's them. In this movie, it was more like, is it them? But at the end of the movie, you're like, yeah, it's them. Okay, so I'm not really surprised. Now, yeah, it's not as predictable as it was in Scream 5. I was just expecting something else. And again, this is the part of the movie that I feel most sort of like unsure about, where I don't like the ending of this movie, really. I thought that it was a bit weird how they did it, and how they ended this movie. And I don't know about this. The ending of the movie is something that I feel really conflicted about. The killer or the killers, that's sort of like another thing that I feel really just conflicted about. I don't like the way or like the things they did with the killer or the killers, and who the killers or the killer is. So yeah, these just certain choices towards the end of the movie, I just don't like them. And maybe when I'll see the movie for like the second and the third time or whatever, maybe I'll get it. I'll appreciate it. But after my first viewing of Scream 6, I'm not entirely sure that I like the ending of this movie. So overall, Scream 6 is pretty good, in my opinion. It definitely gives us great characters from Scream 5. but it explores them even more. And so I have to say that I really do like all the characters, and you really care about them in the movie, which that's really important in a horror movie. You should care about the main characters, because if you don't, the movie's kind of shit, you know? And Scream 6 really does this well, in my opinion. New York is a fantastic setting for this movie. It adds so much depth and it just feels amazing. That's also true. The kills are brutal and definitely a step up from Scream 5, where the kills were brutal but pretty simple. Here, it's just honestly amazing. And it is. It is pretty awesome. The thing is that I just don't feel that I really like the ending. Again, that's sort of like the thing that I feel really conflicted about is the ending of this movie. It's not terrible, it's not awful, but I'm not the biggest fan, okay? I think that's the best way to describe it. And I'm gonna talk about this a lot more in my spoiler review of this movie, okay? So yeah, now, is this the best Scream sequel? In my opinion, no. I love Scream 4 still the most. Like, Scream 4 is still my favorite sequel. And I love that movie so much. But because I know that not a lot of people, like Scream 4 that much, I think this very well might be, for them, the best sequel yet. So yeah, if you're not the biggest fan of Scream 4, I think you might enjoy this one the most, which that's saying something. Okay, that's saying something. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it for this non-spoiler review, guys. Yeah, probably tomorrow on the 9th, I'll probably do the spoiler review, because I have to think about this, a bit more. But yeah, guys, Scream 6, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's amazing. It's really decent. But for me, the ending didn't really work. That's all I'm gonna say without really getting into it. But yeah, guys, this is my review for Scream 6, non-spoiler review to be exact. Tomorrow on the 9th, you can expect a spoiler review where I'll go into greater details about things that I don't like about this movie. But overall, this is a great, solid movie. And for me, this is my third favorite Scream movie, which that's awesome. I have to say that Radio Silence really did. They did a great job this time around and really made something good. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care as always, and bye.